So the article that I selected it because it's something that I actually deal with every day. It pertains to chapter 3 on page 88 is where it kind of connects with it in regards to psychological challenges that people have and when people are, either being perceived by others or perceiving others themselves. And so when it brings up ADHD, it's kind of interesting because I actually am diagnosed with ADHD and have been for 5+ years now, and take medication to help me with not only, school, but also in general social circumstances. And it definitely does help, that's for sure. With this article, it's an overview on what ADHD is, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It goes into, the definition in general, how to diagnose or how doctors diagnose it, as well as brain scans, the difference in how the brain works when someone has ADHD compared to not, and then also treatment plans, so mainly medication, dietary stuff, and which has actually been extremely helpful. The reason why I chose this is because I feel like a lot of people who do have ADHD also feel really misunderstood and don't feel like a lot of people can communicate with them appropriately. So it was kind of funny that psychological challenges, it showed that ADHD is like the top example, because it definitely shows in my everyday life when I don't necessarily mesh well with people or people don't necessarily understand me either. So whether you have ADHD yourself, or if you have friends, or you encounter people in general, it's just something good to know about and to, make people feel comfortable. The first portion I'll go over is the different types of ADHD that are recognized by the DSM-5. So the DSM-5 is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders. It's actually the 5th edition. And so that book itself it's a giant book full of all mental disorders that's possible, pretty much. And it helps doctors diagnose and go through procedures pretty much on how they can diagnose someone with ADHD or bipolar disorder or schizophrenia and all those other things. So with ADHD, it recognizes 3 different types of ADHD, where we have the predominantly inattentive presentation, then we have the predominantly hyperactive or impulsive presentation, and then we have also a combination of the 2, which I can't remember if I have or not, but I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah, pretty sure. So what's interesting is that within America, it shows that 13% of Americans are actually diagnosed with ADHD. And of the 13%, the ratio with genders is 2-to-1, where males outnumber females, which is kind of interesting to think about. At the same time, what the article states is that the reason why boys tend to get diagnosed or males get diagnosed before females do is because when boys are younger, they tend to be a little bit more destructive than girls. And so from there they tend to get a little bit more attention, and so the families seek, help in that sense. And with ADHD, what people don't realize is, it's thought to be combined effects of being not only genetics but also environmental. And so a lot of people, when they see personalities that are a bit bouncy, they tend to chalk it up to something that they can control or turn off and on, like a light switch, and that's definitely not the case. So again, it's just a lot of understanding that I'm hoping that people receive if they look at this article, or if they have questions, they can totally ask me if they have people in their lives that they don't necessarily understand and would like help understanding. But yeah, it requires patience and also wanting to have that connection with someone. And I feel like all of us want to be understood, and it's just how we go about it, and then the effort that we put into it. So I just wanted to read off a couple of symptoms to you guys on how they would classify or diagnose someone with ADHD. They do have it separate in 2 separate portions. The first portion is inattention, and then the second one is hyperactivity and impulsivity. I'll kind of just read them together, or I can read them separately. I'll probably read them just together because there's so many of them. So we have careless mistakes, attention difficulty, kind of a given. We have listening problems, loses things, fails to finish what he or she starts, lacking of organizational skills, reluctant to do tasks that require sustained mental effort, forgetful in routine activities, easily distracted. Then we also have runs or is restless, unable to wait his or her turn, not able to play quietly, and as the article states, it's slow, oh no, ... on the go. And so typically that's, in my personal experience, is you take your time doing things and then you realize that you forgot a plan, or you were supposed to do homework, or you had to do something else and that you were just caught up doing something else at the time. And so at that time when you find out, then you rush and you leave just to try and make sure that you are able to try and catch up, or at least you try, but you're typically always late. At least I'm always late for everything, it seems like. And then we have if someone fidgets with hands or feet, answers are blurted out, staying seated is difficult, and then talks excessively or tends to interrupt. And that's again another something that those things I feel like I fit into all of them, but at the same time I also feel a lot of college students can fit into this too, in general, overall. So I just also mainly wanted to state all of these in case someone felt like maybe they possibly struggled with all of this and that they're able to seek out the help that they possibly need. I feel like a lot of people, I feel like all of us want to be understood and want to understand others, more us being understood, but with this article, I feel like a lot of people will get a new perspective on what ADHD is and how to kind of accommodate people and how to not alienate people. And that was like a huge thing for me and why I wanted to bring this article up to all of you guys. So I hope it helps. If you guys have questions again, let me know. Thanks.